Hi, my name's Tom Robinson, and this week we had some good news for once in the UK, where our government have cancelled the Dubs Agreement. Those of you who don't know what the Dubs Agreement was, it's an agreement to bring child refugees into the UK from around the Middle East and also from the Calais jungle. David Cameron made a promise of up to 3,000 child refugees. Now, first of all, I'd ask why we're bringing these people into the UK. Well, after we obliterated Germany in the World War, we didn't then rally up the Germans to bring them to our country. We helped rebuild Germany. We helped the Germans by helping them in their country, which we could be doing now. We should have already been setting up a no-fly zone in Syria. A no-fly zone so that all these refugees who are fleeing for their life have somewhere safe to flee to. Have a safe area supported by NATO where there's no fly zone, where all these people, their lives are not in danger. So then we get around the refugee crisis, we get around people saying they're running for their lives. It's not like we haven't had the warnings from intelligence services that ISIS, for example, are going to radicalise children in order to infiltrate the child refugee shipment into the UK. We've already had this warned us. We have to also have a look at the people who are coming into our country so far. So the first 200 refugees that were brought into the UK, the images which many of you would have seen, some of these men were older than me, pretending to be children. Okay. After the first batch and people saw the images of them and everyone was questioning, the answer to that was then erect huge fences around the refugee intake in Croydon, near London, so that people couldn't see the images of who was coming into our country. The facts are that 75% of all the refugee children that have been brought into the UK have been proven to be adults. They're the facts. If we have a look at some of the cases of refugees that have come into the UK, well, let's have a look at I'll pick one. A 12-year-old Syrian refugee, put him with a foster family in Wales. Okay, they took this child to a rifle range. He could assemble, dismantle and assemble the gun without looking. That was the first warning sign to the foster parents. Then he held down he was in a foster home with another 13-year-old boy, some young girls, okay, and a family. He was put into school. He then held a boy down and robbed him. He also, when he went to the dentist told his parents that they believe he's 10 years older than he's saying he is. When they involved the police looked on his phone. On his phone they found child pornography. They also found an affiliation to ISIS. Okay? This is a so-called child refugee. This is one of the problems. All the liberals who are screaming, let them all in, let them all in. This is one of the consequences. Now, our government's job, just as Donald Trump's job is to protect American people first, our government's job is to protect the British citizens. Okay? Bringing these men in, this is the bit that gets super frustrating, is all these people, whether they be Labour politicians, whether they be celebrities, whether it be Gary Lineker, whether it be Lily Allen, when you're crying out for these men to come into our country, because that's what they are, 75% of them are men. When you're crying out for these men to come into our country as children, they're then put into schools. So you've got 21-year-old men sitting next to our 12-year-old daughters, not yours, our 12-year-old daughters, sitting in schools with them, having their perverted mindset on our children. Okay? It shouldn't be happening. First and foremost, we need to protect them. If we look to Belgium, for example, just this week, there was a case in Belgium where a 14-year-old child refugee was showing the other school children images of himself in an army uniform with a rifle in his home country. Due to that, the police come in, they took his phone. When they took his phone, what did they find? They found a video of 8 refugees, up to the age of 25, raping a young Belgian girl. Now, these are the consequences that can come of your liberal mindset of allowing men in who are pretending to be kids, who we know nothing about, who actually were safe in France, who actually are not refugees. Okay? And it's not just like this is some sort of liberal view. There's actually Conservative MPs screaming out about this. The BBC headline today is Shameful Britain. Shameful Britain for stopping men coming in who are lying to us, who are pretending to be kids. If you look to Somalia, if we look to Sweden, there was a case where there was a child refugee centre aged 14 to 17. One of the refugees in this home, a Somalian, murdered one of the Swedish girls who was working there. She was 25 years old, beautiful young girl. She was murdered. Guess what? He wasn't a child either. He was an adult. These are the consequences that can happen. Okay? These are cases. I could bring loads of them. I only want to make it a short video. I could go case after case after case showing rapes, murders and violence. Okay? So thank you, Theresa May. Thank you, the British government, for the first step. And let's not pretend this solves the problem. It doesn't solve the problem. What this stops is the Dubs Agreement, where we were actually just willingly bringing in thousands in. What this doesn't stop is that 200 every single day, 200 refugees are hiding in the back of lorries, hiding in the back of trucks. Many of them, when stopped and when they're found in the UK, say they're children. So we still have a problem of Muslim men aged upwards of 20 sitting next to 12 and 13-year-old children in our British schools. That's still our problem. What the government are trying not to do is add to it. So thank you for the first time, Theresa May. Maybe I'm hoping that you listened to me in that discussion we had a few years back. God bless, and thank you for listening thank you for listening to the video. If you'd like to subscribe to more Rebel videos, just click the subscribe button at the end of this video. Thank you.